just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to Outside the Playbook. I took some time off because I had to get ready for my own basketball season coming up. Not shaved, my hair not done under here because I'm locked in. All right, I'm focused on the task at hand, but I have been paying attention to some NBA basketball. The first thing we're going to address is not the MVP conversation, because you know what? It's always the usual suspects. Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, SGA, Joker, Embiid, and Giannis, you know, the usual suspects. We're going to talk about the most valuable role players around the NBA. Guys that, you know what, you would call them an unsung hero, but early in the season, you say, you know what, they stepped their games up. They came out ready to play, and they're taking it to another level for their teams. I'm starting at my power rankings at number 3 with Zubac from the LA Clippers. Zub came in averaging 17 points, 13 rebounds, no Kawhi, James Harden. You knew what you was going to get from him. You knew Norman Powell was going to come in, be free, play offensively like he's always wanted to, without restraint, without having to pass up shots, without having to facilitate to Kawhi and Paul George play his game. You needed a third guy that's going to come in and do his job and hold down the fort at a high level. You get that from Zub. Yes, you're 3 and 4, but you didn't expect him to come in and give you that much offensively and on the glass at a higher level. That's big for them. Number 2, Pritchard from the Boston Celtics, averaging 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Boston 7-1. If you really think about it, he's outplaying Drew Holiday, and he's coming off the bench. Now, if you didn't see some of the highlights from his summer run where he put up, what, 92, something crazy like that, Pritchard can hoop. He's just playing a role. So when you look at the way he's playing for Boston right now, he's doing something that Boston desperately needed, because sometimes coming off that hangover from a championship, you need to take it to another level. Pritchard is doing that, coming off the bench for them. That's why they 7-1. Number 1, I'm going to say Buddy Hield from the Golden State Warriors. Now, Steph Curry goes down with an injury, and you thinking like it's a wrap. Early in the season, for this season to be over with Steph going down with an injury, he misses 3 games, 4 games, something like that, and Buddy Hield's putting up 22 a night. 4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.1 steals. He's like shooting something crazy. 51% from 3, 51% from the field, 50 from 3, 85.7 from the free throw line, and he's averaging 4.73 made per game. But they are 6-1, and Steph Curry's only missed 3 or 4 games. Typically, that's a death sentence. We think their season is just all but over if he's missing that amount of games. And you look at where their roster is stacked. He's playing well, and he kept them afloat. This is a team you don't want to see later on in the year. This is a team you don't want to see when it comes down to the playoff time and you got a jockey for position. You do not want to play Golden State, especially the way Buddy Hield is playing. Yes, it's only 8 games. 8 games in, cool. But he's still playing at a high level. That's a confidence thing. That's a thing that says, all right, for this amount of games, I know that I can go on a hot streak like this. Golden State's going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem throughout the season. Now, something I wanted to talk about, on the NFL side, we seen Saquon Barkley. We seen what he did to them boys. Not only was it disrespectful, you got to think, he hurdled backwards over another professional athlete. You say, all right, disrespectful, amazing, still disrespectful. And then John Morant says, you know what, I'm going to do this. Now, look, John Morant, probably the most athletic player in the league. I mean, everybody talk about Derrick Rose, you know, the second coming and all this. Cool. I have no argument. John Morant is a crazy athlete. Ridiculous. But it comes to a point where you did it once. But when you do it twice in the same game, you're just playing with your food, man. You're playing with your food. Because think about it. He could have punched on Cam Johnson disrespectfully, dunked in that man's face, and he probably would have dunked him to the ground. It's a very high chance. It's very likely he would have dunked Cam Johnson to the floor. The way he brought it back, he would have dunked that young man to the ground. But he brought it back, 360, switched hands, finished with a soft kiss with the left hand. That's disrespectful. You're playing with your food. Don't play with your food like that. Don't toy with the men like that, all right? That you're being disrespectful. You're being disrespectful. The fans, we love it. The other professional athletes that's on the court with you and on the field with Saquon Barkley, they don't appreciate that. Let's talk about something a little bit more serious, man. Joel Embiid had a disagreement with a reporter. I'm not going to talk about exactly what was said. I'm not going to repeat it because, in my personal opinion, it crossed the line, all right? Everybody's talking about, you know, you got to be better than that. You got to control your emotions. You got to control yourself. Listen, he's a human being. He had a human response to something that he deemed disrespectful, that was disrespectful, and he reacted to it. He's getting suspended 3 games. Now, he's been suspended. He's gotten a technical foul. He's gotten fined. And you know what? The issues are mounting. Once he gets back on the court, once he starts performing at the MVP level that we know him to perform at, everything is going to be okay. All right. But one thing we got to keep in mind about Joel Embiid, the man is not, he doesn't mind being controversial. So if the issue comes up to where he finds himself in a situation where he has to leave Philly or wants to leave Philly, he will pull that trigger in a second. So I think the 76ers got to be cautious as they move about the rest of this season, because guess what? Tyrese Maxey, he's stepping up. He's becoming that guy. You got to watch out for Joel Embiid, because he could ask for a trade at any given moment, and he has no problem being the bad guy. He thrives off of it. He loves it. So if he comes down to a situation where he's asking out of Philly, it ain't going to take much. Now, let's talk about somebody else who might ask out of his team, who's been there the whole time of his career, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, this is what Kendrick Perkins had to say about Giannis the other day on, I think it was Get Up. No, not Get Up, on NBA Today, something like that. But this is what Perk had to say.
Didn't Mike Budenholzer get fired as well? A guy that they won a championship with. Okay, and then all of a sudden you fire Adrian Griffin. Giannis forced the hand to trade for Damian Lillard, okay, and get Drew Holiday out of there. Here's the thing. Does Giannis have blood on his hands? Absolutely, right? All over this. So you got to stick it out. You got to ride it out. This is what you wanted, Giannis. You knew that you and Dame didn't have the chemistry that y'all needed to have, especially playing the 2-man game and learning one another. Dame told you time and time again publicly last season, he told all of us that it was times that he felt lonely because it was the first time that he was away from his family. Did Giannis step up as a franchise player and a leader to say, hey, Dame, come over to the crib, watch some games, let's build some type of chemistry? Did Giannis do a good job this offseason of reaching out to Dame and say, hey, let's get in the gym at some point together. Let's construct a mini camp before a training camp.
Now, look, one thing I do agree with Perk is this, all right? Giannis did create this situation. Budenholzer is out. He could have kept Mike. He could have kept him. All they got to do is go to the front office and say, hey, don't let him go. If he goes, I go. Something of that magnitude, he's going to get his way. They let him go. Adrian Griffin, word is he was bumping heads with Adrian Griffin, didn't really like each other, didn't like the strategy or philosophy. Get him out of there. He was 30-13. You bring Doc in. Everything that's happened up to this point is essentially, you can say Giannis asked for these things to take place. I'm not talking about the record. I'm not talking about being 1-6 and being at the very bottom of the Eastern Conference with a 1-6 record and you lose 6 games straight. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the part where Mike is out of there, Griffin is out of there, Doc Rivers is there, Damian Lillard is there. You didn't build a roster around Giannis or Dame, so it looks like this. And Chris Middleton injured all the time. He's out of the lineup, so you don't really know what you have. These are, a culmination of things that, partly you can say, all right, Giannis asked for these things. The other side of it is Doc Rivers is Doc Rivers. We need to stop expecting different results from the same person that didn't get it done in LA. Didn't get it done when he was with Philly. And also, you know what? If it wasn't for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen savings behind in Boston, they wouldn't have got that ring in 2008. We have to stop expecting different results from the same guy who continues to disappoint us for the entirety of his career. I've been saying this till I'm probably gonna end up saying it till I'm blue in the face still. Doc Rivers is not a great coach. He's had great players that carried him through regular seasons up until the point in the playoffs where he's going to consistently be out-coached. It's just happening early in the season right now. He said he has no doubt in mind that they're going to make the playoffs. Sir, you may not be there to see them make it to the playoffs. That's ultimately going to be how they get there. Do you think that Joel Embiid's time in Philadelphia has ultimately concluded? Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That's one more for the good guys.